I took a 2-hour bus ride to surprise my mom on her birthday with her favorite flowers and a handmade quilt I'd spent months sewing. When I got there, my sister opened the door and laughed. "She's at the spa with me, not you," she said. I walked inside anyway, only to find my gift in the trash and my name scratched off the cake. My mom walked out of the bathroom and said, "You showing up uninvited is why nobody wants you around." I didn't say a word. I just left. 3 weeks later, she showed up at my job crying, saying she needed a place to stay. I don't really tell people much about my family. If I do, I usually just say, "We're not close," and leave it at that. But the truth? It runs way deeper than that. It's not just distance. It's the kind of damage that sits in your chest and builds up year after year until something finally snaps. I'm 34 now. I work at a warehouse store in Akron. I live alone in a tiny apartment above a laundromat. Not glamorous, but it's mine. I make it work. My mom lives in Columbus. She's always been cold. Not abusive, not yelling or hitting, nothing like that. Just distant. Like I was always the extra piece she didn't know what to do with. My sister Tasha, though? The golden child. Always has been. Even back when we were kids, it was clear. Tasha could crash the car and laugh about it. Mom would say, "Well, she's stressed." I'd get a B on a test and get the silent treatment for a week. Still, every year I tried. Birthdays, holidays, I called, I sent gifts, I showed up. I kept thinking that if I just did one more kind thing, maybe she'd finally see me. Maybe something would click and I'd stop feeling like a stranger in my own family. This year, I decided to do something big. My mom's birthday was coming up in March. I spent months making her a quilt. I worked on it every night after work. I used fabric from old clothes, things that meant something. My dad's flannel shirt, her old gardening apron, even the blue dress I wore at my high school graduation. I didn't just sew it. I poured everything into it. She loved lilies, too. Stargazers. So I saved up and bought a bouquet from a florist downtown instead of grocery store flowers. I knew they'd be fresher. I even took the bus 2 hours each way, just to surprise her in person. That morning, I got up early, took the first bus out, carried the quilt in a big tote bag, and held the flowers on my lap the whole ride. I stopped at a bakery once I got to Columbus and bought her favorite cake, coconut with buttercream. Had them write, "Happy birthday, Mom. Love, Dana," in blue icing. I remember walking up her driveway, feeling nervous, but also excited. It had been a while since I saw her. I figured even if she didn't react like a Hallmark commercial, she'd at least smile. I knocked. Tasha opened the door. She had on this fancy red dress, heels, makeup like she was about to walk a red carpet. She looked surprised to see me. Not happy, just surprised. Then she laughed. "Well, damn," she said. "You came all this way? That's wild." I blinked, unsure what to say. "She's not here," Tasha said, stepping back. "She's at the spa. With me. Not you." That last part, "not you," was like a slap. I stepped inside anyway, and that's when I realized what was going on. The house was full of people. Music blasting. Food on the table. Streamers and balloons. A birthday party. A party I wasn't invited to. I stood there holding the cake and flowers while cousins I hadn't seen in years walked past me without a word. One of them gave me a confused look like I wasn't supposed to be there. I looked around for a place to set the cake. That's when I saw the dining table. There was another cake already there, bigger, fancier, decorated with gold trim and flowers. Also said, "Happy birthday, Mom." But right next to it was the cake I had brought. Someone had scratched out "Love, Dana" with their finger. Just smeared it away like it was a mistake. I turned my head toward the trash can. The lilies were in it. Still wrapped. Crushed. That bouquet cost me $28. And then I saw the tote bag in the corner. The quilt was halfway out of it. Someone had thrown it on the floor near the snack table. A kid stepped on it and laughed. No one cared. That's when I heard the bathroom door open. My mom walked out in a robe and a towel on her head. She looked right at me. She didn't look happy. She didn't look surprised. She looked annoyed. You showing up uninvited is why nobody wants you around, she said. No one said a word. No one defended me. Not even Tasha. I didn't cry. I didn't argue. I turned around and walked out. I didn't say goodbye. Didn't even shut the door behind me. I just walked. Got back on the bus. Sat in silence for 2 hours. I didn't even have the energy to be angry. I felt like I was floating. 3 weeks went by. I ignored every text, every call. I didn't block them, I just didn't respond. Then one Friday afternoon, I was working the register when I saw her. My mom. She walked in with a plastic bag, her hair messy, her coat zipped up wrong, eyes red and swollen. Dana, she said, walking up to my line. I didn't know where else to go. I didn't say anything, just stared at her. She looked at me like I was supposed to say something. Like I owed her comfort. Tasha kicked me out, she said. I need a place to stay. Please. She started crying right there in front of customers. But I didn't cry. I didn't say a single word. She stood there, crying. I stood there, quiet. Customers were starting to notice. One lady whispered to her husband, pointing at my mom. A kid in line asked his dad, "Why is that lady sad?" My manager, Cliff, walked over, brows raised. "Everything okay here?" he asked, eyes bouncing between me and her. I nodded. Yeah, she was just leaving. My mom flinched like I'd slapped her. "Dana," she whispered. "Please. I'm your mother." Cliff looked uncomfortable. "You can take your break early if you need." I shook my head. "No, I'm good." She stood there a few seconds more. Then she turned and walked out without another word. I watched her through the glass doors. She sat down on the bench outside and pulled her coat tighter. Didn't even have gloves on. After my shift ended, I walked past her without stopping. I was halfway down the parking lot when she called out. "Do you hate me?" she said. I stopped. Turned around slow. "I don't hate you," I said. "I just finally believe you." She didn't answer. The next morning, there was a voicemail from Tasha. "You need to grow the hell up," she said. "Mom's been crying for days." I took her in and she threw it in my face. "You always make everything about you." She didn't even try to explain why the quilt was on the floor. Or why my name was scratched off the cake. No apology. Just blame. I deleted the voicemail. That night, I got home to find someone sitting on the stairs outside my apartment. My mom. Again. She had a small suitcase next to her. That same plastic bag from the store. "I didn't go back to Tasha's," she said. "She doesn't want me there either." I sighed. "What happened?" "She told me I was a burden," she said. Said I make everything dramatic. That I play favorites. That I made her feel like nothing growing up. I laughed. Couldn't help it. "She's not wrong," I said. Mom looked shocked. "I just want to talk," she said. "Please." One night. I won't ask for anything else. I stared at her. Thought about the cake. The quilt. The trash. The look on her face when she told me nobody wanted me. "Fine," I said. "One night. Couch only." I let her in. She took off her shoes, sat down slow, like her body was breaking in pieces. "Thank you," she said. I didn't answer. I gave her a blanket. Water. Nothing else. Around midnight, I heard her crying. Next morning, she was still there. Still crying. "Why did you even have me?" I asked her. She looked up, eyes swollen. "What? Why did you have me if you didn't want me?" She opened her mouth, closed it, then said I was young. I didn't know how to love 2 kids. "That's your excuse?" She stared at me. "I was scared of you," she said. "You were quiet. Sensitive. You looked like your dad. And after he died, I didn't want to see that." She covered her face with both hands. You mean after he killed himself, I said, voice flat. She froze. You blamed me for that too, didn't you? She didn't answer. That silence told me everything. I stood up, walked to the door, opened it. You said one night, I told her. She picked up her bag. Her hands were shaking. Dana, please. I shook my head. I'm done being your backup plan. She stepped out. The door clicked shut behind her. I sat down on the couch and stared at the spot where she'd been sitting. The blanket she used still held the shape of her body. My phone buzzed again. Tasha. This time she texted, I hope you're happy. She has no one now. Just like you always wanted. I stared at the message for a while. And then, slowly, I started to plan something. Not out of spite. Not out of hate. But to finally take back control of my own story. Over the next week, I didn't hear from either of them. No calls. No texts. And I didn't reach out either. It was quiet. Too quiet. But not in a peaceful way. It felt like the kind of silence before a storm when the sky looks too still, like it's holding something back. Then, out of nowhere, I got a call from a number I didn't recognize. It was my aunt, my mom's older sister, June. We hadn't talked in years. Dana, she said, voice low, I don't want to make things worse, but you should know your sister's been saying some things. I leaned back against the wall. What kind of things? She's telling people you cursed Mom out, Aunt June said. Said you screamed at her and pushed her out onto the street. I laughed. Cold, empty. That didn't happen. I know. That's why I'm calling. Then she added something else. She's also telling folks you were always jealous of her. That you tried to turn Mom against her for years. She's really rewriting everything. I felt a pit in my stomach. It wasn't just Tasha talking trash. It was a full-on campaign to make me look like the bad one. And I knew why. She was trying to bury what really happened at that party. The quilt. The cake. The words Mom said. Tasha wanted to erase all of it by painting me as the bitter daughter who couldn't let go of the past. But I wasn't gonna sit back and let her do it. I didn't want revenge for attention. I wanted the truth to stand. Even if it was ugly. So I made a plan. I went to visit Aunt June. She lived out near Gahanna. Brought the last things I had left, photos, old letters from Mom, even one she wrote me after Dad died where she blamed me for being too needy and making him feel trapped. Aunt June read it, her eyes wide. Oh my God, she whispered. I didn't know. That's why I stopped visiting, I said. Not because I didn't care. Because it hurt too much to keep walking into a house that treated me like a ghost. Aunt June gave me a long look. You want people to know the truth? Only the ones who are still listening. So she invited some of the family over that weekend. Cousins and uncle, even Mom's old friend who used to babysit us. I didn't expect to convince everyone. I just wanted to speak my part in a room full of people who had only heard one side. I brought the quilt with me. Still stained with that juice box from the party. Still creased from being shoved in that bag. I laid it across the table. I made this for my mom's birthday, I said. I worked on it for 4 months. They stared at it in silence. I told them what happened. The party. The trash. The cake. I didn't cry. I didn't scream. I just told the truth. At one point, Aunt June whispered, I was there. I saw it on the floor. I thought it was just something from a store. After I finished, one cousin looked down, embarrassed. Another one said, Tasha told us you were drunk that day. That you barged in and made a scene. I shook my head. I was sober. I was just tired. Tired of not mattering. A few people left early, but others stayed. And a few even apologized. It didn't fix everything, but it cracked the surface. That night, I got a message. Not from Mom, not from Tasha, but from one of Tasha's friends, Kelly. She worked with her at some boutique salon. Her message was short. You might want to know, Tasha's been bragging about cutting your name off the cake. She thinks it was funny. She attached a screenshot. It was a group chat. Tasha, you should have seen Dana's face. Like a kicked puppy. Face with tears of joy, another girl replied, OMG, stop. You're awful. Tasha, whatever. She needs to get over herself. Mom only kept her out of guilt anyway. I stared at the screen. There it was. In her own words. And I realized something. Tasha didn't just want to erase me. She wanted to humiliate me. This wasn't over. Not even close. The next day, I printed out the screenshots from Tasha's group chat. I slid them into an envelope, along with a copy of the letter my mom wrote me after Dad died. The one where she said I was too emotional and too much. I didn't add any notes. No explanations. Just the raw truth. I mailed one copy to every person who had been at that party. Even the pastor from her church. Even her boss. I wasn't trying to ruin her life. I was just giving people the truth she tried to bury. If they still stood by her after that, so be it. But they'd do it knowing who she really was. I didn't hear anything for a week. Then the fallout started. Tasha lost her job at the salon. Turns out, one of the girls in that group chat was her supervisor's niece. That niece showed the messages, and the owner didn't like her employees mocking people who were grieving. Aunt June called me again. She's losing it, she said. She's been calling everyone, trying to clear her name. Even your mom's friends are turning away. I stayed quiet. Then she said something that shook me. She tried to get Mom to lie for her. Told her to say the screenshots were fake. Your mom refused. That caught me off guard. She refused. I asked. Yep, Aunt June said. Said she's done choosing sides. I didn't know what to make of that. After everything, part of me still wanted her to hurt. To feel just a little of what she made me feel my whole life. But another part of me just felt tired. Then, a few days later, I got a knock on my door. I opened it to find Mom standing there. No suitcase. No bag. Just her. She looked smaller. I'm not here to stay, she said. I just came to tell you something. I stepped aside, but she didn't come in. I read everything, she said. The messages. The letter. I don't remember writing it, but I believe I did. She looked down at her hands. I failed you. Not just once. For years. I don't know how to fix that. I leaned on the doorframe. You can't, I said. Something stay broken. She nodded. I figured. Then she pulled something out of her coat pocket. It was a photo. Me, as a kid. Sitting in Dad's lap. We were both smiling. It was worn at the edges. I've kept this in my wallet, she said. Even when I hated myself. Even when I hated you. I didn't say anything. She placed it on my doormat. I'm sorry I made you feel like nothing, she said. You were never nothing. I just didn't know how to love someone who reminded me of the best thing I ever lost. Then she walked away. I didn't stop her. I stood there in the doorway for a long time. As for Tasha? Last I heard, she moved in with some guy she barely knows. We don't talk anymore. Some people say revenge is about hurting the people who hurt you. But the real revenge? Is living with nothing left to prove. Now, when I see that quilt, still stained, still creased, I hang it on my wall. Not because it was accepted, but because it's mine. Every thread, every scar, every lie burned away. And in that quiet, I found peace. Even if it came too late.